All right. Hi, Shannon.
Hello.
So I am going to talk to you today about your coffee drinking and your preferences between Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts. So, do you drink coffee? And if you do, how often?
Yes, I drink coffee every day. Usually once in the morning, special occasions, another cup in the afternoon.
Okay. And is it usually one serving per
Usually,
coffee experience?
I would say.
Okay. Do you have a preferred coffee brand?
I do. Very specific, actually. It is Starbucks
Okay.
at the moment. It's a dark blend of Starbucks.
Okay. Why do you drink coffee?
Well, I'm addicted to coffee.
Okay. What do you like about drinking coffee? Is it just, you
It's-
feel like you want to drink coffee, or is it
It's very much a ritual.
okay?
You wake up, it's part of your morning routine.
All right.
Without it, something is missing.
Okay. Makes sense. Now, I know your preferred coffee brand is Starbucks. Do you have a preference between Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts? And if so, why or why not?
If we had this interview a couple years ago, I would say Gung Ho Dunkin' Donuts. But that recently has shifted with my taste in coffee. I started liking very rich, dark coffee taste that I can't really get with Dunkin' Donuts anymore.
Okay. Have you tried Dunkin' Donuts dark roast? Do you feel like that doesn't do the trick for you?
If Dunkin' Donuts is a must, I get a dark roast with a turbo shot in it.
Okay.
So that I get that coffee taste with that combination of things.
Do you feel that dark roast with the turbo shot satisfies the same craving as Starbucks, or would you still prefer that Starbucks?
I would very much prefer that Starbucks,
Okay.
but I feel like, especially in the Northeast, Dunkin' Donuts are everywhere, so sometimes it's just more convenient.
Absolutely. Now, I know you said that Starbucks, you prefer it because of that dark, richer taste and the strength of the coffee. Are there any other reasons for your preference for Starbucks versus Dunkin'?
I think it is very much a quality. I feel like I'm getting more quality with Starbucks than with Dunkin'. Dunkin', I think, focuses more on quantity than quality.
I can see that for sure. What do you think would make Dunkin' Donuts more appealing to you? So would you, if they had darker roast or if they did something else, what do you think would make you prefer Dunkin' Donuts if they were to change and cater to you?
I think the brand of Dunkin' Donuts and what that puts forth of who they are has a very large audience, and they can fulfill and be successful and do everything that they need to do with that, and then I feel like it's almost just a different audience. I very much enjoy every sip of my coffee. It's not just I just need to drink some coffee and feel the boost and keep going. I very much enjoy my coffee.
And it's an experience.
Yeah, you can say it's an experience.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds silly, but you
absolutely.
like that, and it's something for you,
It's
and you're investing.
calming.
Yes, absolutely. Do you feel so in public relations specifically? We talk a lot about how if you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one. So there's this whole concept of, if you are trying to get everyone to like you, you won't have anyone like you. Do you feel that, you said that there's this large Dunkin' Donuts audience. Do you think that there's a link between the, like, Dunkin' Donuts kind of being everyone's coffee, and America runs on Dunkin', so they're really...
I think that's what they're pushing for.
Yeah. Do you think that almost hinders their successes, specifically with coffee drinkers? So, you're saying that drinking coffee is a real experience for you. You like that dark, rich
Yeah.
taste. It's not just for the effects of coffee. You know, you really like drinking it. Do you think that that maybe affects Dunkin'? And it's fine if you disagree, you know.
True. I feel like with this topic, it almost kind of shifts. It makes me think of the employees. And when I think of Dunkin' employees, I think of fast turnovers and high school kids, or people that just get trained, stay for as long, and then leave. And I feel like there are so many times that I ordered a basic cup of coffee and it's wrong. And it drives me nuts. But the people that are at my local Starbucks, they've been working at that same Starbucks since I was a little kid, you know?
Right.
Like, they greet me when I come in because they know who I am, and they know that I work across the street. And, like, I never get a coffee that's wrong. And if it's wrong, there's no problem with going back and fixing that. It's not as rushed.
So one of our roommates is a Starbucks barista. Do you think there's a certain thing to be said about that label? So you're talking about the employees and kind of their view on their job. You know, when you work at Starbucks, you're a barista. When you work at Dunkin' Donuts, they don't necessarily brand their employees as a certain thing. So for me, if just blindly, if, you know, you said, okay, well, do you want an hourly employee or a barista making your coffee? You know, that barista sounds a lot better. Like, do you think that if Dunkin' Donuts kind of focused their employee relations and kind of their employee attitude and the employee brand of Dunkin' Donuts, do you think that potentially that could shift? Or
Absolutely. Like, I think that Starbucks treats their employees really well, so their employees want to stay. And Dunkin' Donuts, it's just somebody that's always hiring that'll give you a job.
And a lot of times it's younger kids too, I find, at Dunkin' Donuts.
So that standard, I guess, it's held to different standards.
Absolutely. So kind of going on a different note, when you're buying coffee and you're spending this money, now you're a college student, across the board, I always say, no matter how much money you have, you will always be a broke college student because we just spend until, you know, we run out. So do you find that flavor or cost is more important when you're spending money on coffee?
I would say flavor.
Flavor. Okay.
Yeah. Instead of going to Starbucks every morning and getting myself a cup of Sumatra coffee, I go to Walmart because they have the cheapest prices over any other place. They have the cheapest Starbucks K-Cups. So I still spend $1 a day on coffee.
Right.
Which is completely doable.
But
it's for the taste.
Absolutely. What kind of advertising do you think is most important for coffee makers to appeal to their audiences? So when you think about, you know, what you like and what your preferences are, do you find that that's kind of a guess and check? So you're trying a bunch of these different coffees at different coffee places. So specifically today we're talking about Starbucks and Dunkin', but do you find that, you know, it's more of a, okay, well, I'm going to look solely for the coffee and then the brand will come second? Or do you find yourself being like, oh wow, like I saw that Starbucks ad or I saw that Dunkin' Donuts ad and now I really want that? Or I have coupons for Dunkin' Donuts, so now I want Dunkin' Donuts versus Starbucks. So those advertising kind of campaigns and different strategies, do you find that works for you as their target audience, or do you find that you're kind of more independent from the advertisements?
I feel like I very much know what I like. Like, I know that I like that darker, richer taste. So if there are advertisements for that specifically, I'm welcome to try it out. If I go into a coffee shop that I'm not sure, the first thing I say is, do you have a dark roast? And I automatically go to that more narrower window to try an experiment. But I do try an experiment. So ads like Dunkin's free iced coffee days that are dark roast only. I'll be there. It's free coffee. and it's dark roast, so I'll be there.
Great. Can you think of a specific advertisement that would appeal to you enough to change your coffee brand? So even if, maybe you saw an advertisement that didn't make you, change your habit, because it sounds like, you have your kind of set in stone way that you like to drink coffee, the taste, but have you seen anything that has changed your mind or has made you think about changing your mind? And in addition to that, if you haven't, what do you think would make you change your mind?
I guess I made that Dunkin's to Starbucks transition a year and a half ago.
Okay.
So that's still pretty recent. And it was always just like, grew up drinking Dunkin'. It's right down the street. You go before you have to go anywhere. You go if your teacher asks to go during school, you're there, So Dunkin' was always just it. And then I started with Starbucks drinking the like sugary messes when I was in middle school.
Right, the fun drinks that aren't really coffee.
Absolutely. And so I sort of made that grown-up, shall we say, coffee decision recently. And it was more of a guess and check. But once finding it, it's nice to be able to figure out what I like.
Was there what kind of, if you know, let me rephrase this. You were guessing and checking, you were playing around with Starbucks because it's fun and they have those fun not mixed drinks, but, the fun coffee concoctions that they have. What, can you pinpoint any reason that really made that habitual switch? So, it wasn't that, okay, well, I usually go to Dunkin' because of the convenience and because it's such a thing, to now saying, okay, well, now I would rather go out of my way to go all the way to Walmart to have that coffee that I like, or to spend a little bit more money to have that coffee. Are you able to pinpoint that switch?
I think that it was heavily influenced by our roommate, Chelsea, who always had Starbucks coffee. And that Starbucks coffee she was getting from work, so it was always at home, and there was always a pot being made in the morning. And so those habits that were forming in the morning, I was like, wow, this is actually really good. And it was downstairs when I first woke up. I didn't have to leave the house.
Right.
And that was mind-blowing. So I think that's kind of what started that whole movement.
Okay. Is there anything else in the grand scheme of the Starbucks versus Dunkin' or the coffee experience that you're choosing? Is there anything else that I should know about? No, it's okay if not. We went over a lot, so.
I think I kind of vented most of that out.
All right, definitely. I feel like we really covered a lot today. Just out of curiosity, do you know anyone else who would be good to talk about this topic? So if you know specific people or just genres of people. So do you think that this is a good topic to talk to college students? Or do you feel like maybe it's more important to talk to a little bit more of a mature audience who aren't always, you like taste versus cost. But a lot of college students are quite the opposite, where they're like, I'll go to the cheap gas station for coffee because it's the cheapest. So who do you think would be a good person to talk about this topic?
Both.
Both.
I think that both are very much needed to kind of understand what's going on. And then maybe people that are new to drinking coffee. I think that would be an interesting group of people to talk to.
Absolutely, because then you're hearing kind of, they don't do it, but they're susceptible to the media about it.
Yeah.
So how are they influenced? I think that's a really great idea. Well, thank you so much for talking to me today, and this has been great. Thank you.
Thanks.